Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We're here again, math in the real world. We're live here at Kirschenman Enterprises. And we want to know a little bit, I mean, it wouldn't be a true math show if we didn't figure out how math figures into agriculture. The whole entire county seems like we're wrapped up in agriculture and oil. So today we're going to look a little bit about how math works in agriculture. And we have the president here, Wade Kirschenman. Thanks for the time. Appreciate you being with us today.
It's good to be here.
Tell us where we are and what's going on here.
Well, we're out at our company's farm in Lamont, California, I guess technically. And my father and I have been running the farm for, actually grandfather started in the 1939, so we've been out here a long time. And we're going to show you some table grape packing right now, what we're doing. It's late in the year and we are getting close to being done for the season, but here we are, we're packing some late season grapes. And,
right, it does seem kind of late in the season. I mean, I usually think of grapes as like a summer crop, but these ones have been kind of held over a little bit. How do you get them to ripen up so late in the season? That's got to be a special technique, right?
Well, these are later varieties that we have. These are different varieties than what you would buy in the stores in July or even August.
Okay.
And so they're made to ripen later in the season, and you know, we hope they can stay fresh until the season's over. And in the wintertime, most of the grapes that you buy are from Peru and Chile, but these are the late season California grapes. We're still going, and so we try to keep them on the vine. We put rain covers on, and
right. So you have some specific methods that you use to make sure that they're fresh all the way through. So if you're still buying grapes at the grocery store, they could still be from California at this time.
They are from California, right?
Okay.
Right.
Good deal.
Right.
What other kinds of crops do you grow in your business?
So we grow potatoes is a big crop for us, one of our main crops. We grow watermelons. Peaches and nectarines early in the season, carrots, peppers, canner tomatoes, almonds, oranges, all kinds of stuff.
And the climate here in Kern County is so unique, right? We were talking about that a little bit earlier, about the fact that you can grow so many things in this area that you couldn't grow in other areas. Whether you go east of here, whether you go north of here, or even south of here, Kern County really has a unique climate. Tell us what exactly makes this place so unique.
We're in a very unique area. We have a long, a dry summer that doesn't have a lot of humidity, which is good, and we don't get a lot of rain, which obviously we do need some rain, but we don't want it in the middle of the summer. But there are several crops such as table grapes that are, specifically just grown between here and say Madera, which is just north of Fresno, and you really can't grow them anywhere else in North America because of you can grow wine grapes in Oregon or Washington, but not really table grapes because of the cooler weather.
So the main component is the weather, right? What about the soil? Anything special about the soil in Kern County?
The soil types, we have deep soils and that are sandy loam soils that are really good for growing these crops. And we do have a lot of water issues in front of us, but we are blessed to have generally, historically speaking, good snowpack. So we do have groundwater and good water here, although we do need rain.
So water's always an issue for farmers, right? Where does the majority of the water come from on your farm?
The water, we get, half of our water comes from wells that we have in the ground, and the wells are, the aquifers are generated from the snowpack in the mountains. And we also get water from Northern California through some of the various canal systems that we have in the state. So water's obviously a big issue, but as farmers, we feel like we're not wasting water. We're using water to grow food. So,
right.
So.
Right. And a little bit, if you don't mind me asking a little bit about the irrigation process, that's changed over the years too, right? Because there used to be flood irrigation where some people might look at a field and say, wow, that really is wasting water. There's water everywhere all over that field. And now we have drip irrigation. Of course, there's some math that goes along with that, but how does that work? How does drip irrigation work, and why is it more effective?
The drip irrigation allows you to put the water right where you need it, right next to the plant's root system, and not 10 feet away or 20 feet away. The flood irrigation systems, used an excess amount of water that was really not necessary, and so we're able to just give that plant just what it needs for irrigation, and thereby saving a lot of water.
Right. And I'm sure that math had a lot to do with that, right? So we're back here at Kirschenman Enterprises, and we want to know a little bit about how they use math when they're packing these grapes. So, Wade, can you tell us a little bit before we go and see the actual process? What are the factors that go into packing grapes? We obviously have to know how much they weigh, right?
We have to know how much they weigh. So, right now we're packing a 4-pound clamshell, and the grapes were all picked in the field by hand, and we picked the grapes in these loose plastic boxes. And then once they're brought into the cold storage, we'll then repack them into whatever package we're packing that day for the customer. It could be a bag, it could be a clamshell of different sizes, it could be another loose pack box. So that's kind of how we do it. And the grapes are they're picked by hand and very delicately, and they're clean, and they're not washed. They're we want the grapes to have more of a natural. You can probably go up.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of these things that they are packing here. Now, obviously, there's some when they come out of the field, the packers have to look a little bit at the fact that you have some product that is usable and you have some product that is not usable, right? So we have a little bit of waste that goes into it. But each of the people who are packing they have to have a scale in front of them, right? They have to weigh how much it is. So how much does one of these clamshells? As you say, it's 4 pounds?
These are about 4 pounds.
Okay.
Like you get a better shot of the scales, maybe.
Yeah.
I just noticed you didn't have the scale.
Right. They got a scale there, and they're gonna weigh them. They're gonna pack them up, right? And then looks like you got 4 boxes or 4 clamshells per box.
4 clamshells per box.
Right.
That's correct. And once the package, the clamshell is packed to the appropriate weight, and cleaned properly, it's then the clamshell's closed up. We seal it up like she's going to do right now.
And then different times of the year, you're going to pack different varieties, right?
Yes.
So that's where the little label comes on top, and then they're going to make sure that each one of them has what they need for the specific customer. Now, when a customer calls in and wants to buy grapes from you, right, can they specifically ask for what color, how big they are, what kind of packaging? Can they ask for all those things?
Yes, of course. Yep.
Okay.
And some customers like clamshells like this. Some like bags. They're really all different types, and there are different grades of grapes as well. And so these would be shipped, just shipped domestically. I'm not sure exactly where these are going right now, but these would be a
But there's so many factors here too. So I'm sure that you keep really tight control on, first of all, your quality control about what the quality looks like, but then secondly, the efficiency of your workers, right? So you pay your workers an hourly wage, and so here's some more math that has to go into it. You want to make sure you get the maximum production out of those workers.
That's correct.
And so you get reports during the day, and they tell you some information. What are some of the factors that you look for to get maximum production?
Well, what we're looking for is first and foremost, we want to do a quality job. So the quality comes before anything. But if we are getting that quality job, then we want to be as efficient as possible. So we're looking for the crew to always be efficient and make a quality box and make as many boxes as they can that fit our quality specifications. We also want that pack out. So the boxes come in, the plastic boxes come in from the field. Hopefully, if we pack one of those, we're going to get one of these as well, and so we don't have too much loss.
Right.
But sometimes different fields will have more loss than other times, and that's just part of growing grapes and part of nature.
Yeah.
But,
now, do you make daily decisions based on the numbers that you get, as far as maybe this field you start to pick it and it's not quite ripe yet and you have to wait a while?
We do.
Or as they go through the field, you can only pick certain amounts of the fruit, and you have to go back and pick it later? Are all those decisions made on a daily basis?
Those are made on a daily basis. They are, and we want to we want to get the best color and the best sugar that we can and the best quality that we can. But if we don't have that, we'll move the crew to another field the next day. And so it's a daily thing that we're going through.
It really is data driven too, right? I mean, you have to make sure that the numbers are informing your decisions, because it is all about production at the end of the day. You want to make sure you have maximum production.
That's correct. That's correct. And we're also we also, it's driven by orders also. So we may have needs for so many red grapes here, and then we pick green grapes. We'll pick black grapes. So we'll pick different varieties of grapes in the same day to fill different orders as well. So
now, compared to the middle of summer, because we know middle of summer is prime time grape season. Compared to middle of summer with what you're packing now, are you packing half as many at the moment? Are you packing a little less than that, a little more than that?
Probably at this late stage in the year, I would say we're probably packing maybe 20% of what we would be doing in the summer.
So you really are wrapping it up.
We're really wrapping it up pretty fast. So.
And how much longer will you be packing?
Well, we'll actually be packing grapes for another month, but we're only going to be picking grapes for another less than a week.
Okay, gotcha. So the picking will end, the packing will continue because they're going to come out of cold storage.
Right.
And there's so many different factors you have to consider, and all that data coming in each day is going to drive those decisions about whether or not to pack them, whether or not to hold them in cold storage for a while. And part of that has to do with the market too, right?
Right.
There's so many things we could talk about. All right, we're back here at the packing house, and you can probably tell things got a little bit quieter. They've shut down the packing for the day, but agriculture never ends. Never ends. So they're getting ready for tomorrow. We want to talk a little bit about the math that goes into preparing for the next day so that they make sure that they're as productive as possible. So, can you tell us a little bit about exactly what we have on this page? Because this is some of that data we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah, so every day after we're done packing, we get a pack out, and it tells us what exactly we packed that day, how many boxes of each. We have different types of boxes. So then after that, we plan for the next day. So if we were short on an order, we got to pack it the next day. If we're over, then we got to over inventory. So here's the pack out we have, where we pack, the hours, the packers, the helpers. And this all breaks down something for our boss, our owner. Mm-hmm. He figures how much it costs them to pack each box, how many yields he gets from each field. So it's all information. Here's the pack out, the percentage that he packed out that day, the loss.
So we have specific numbers that are definitely driving all those decisions. So can you just go down this column here? What are these numbers that are coming in, going out, all that fun stuff?
So coming in, these are the totes that come in that we use to pack that day.
All right.
These are the cartons of clamshells. These are Euros, which is a different pack style.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we have 2091 that went in, 1851 that came out.
Right.
And the difference is 240 totes lost.
Okay.
But the totes are a different weight than the boxes.
Right.
So then that's where the percentage comes in at a different percentage.
Gotcha. So you didn't necessarily lose 240, but it gives you a number to work with, right?
Yeah.
And you can base your decisions for the next day. Yeah. Now, do you know what's coming in tomorrow? Like, what do you have to prepare for tomorrow?
Yeah. We always know at the end of the day what's going to
happen
the next day. Yeah.
Because you don't want to run out of all the packing material.
Yeah, we don't want to run out of boxes. That's a killer out there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so we want to know a little bit more about the math that goes in the day-to-day stuff. So we have some grapes right here. Alonzo's going to show us what we do with the grapes in the field. Tell us what you got here.
Oh, this is a digital refractometer.
Okay, that sounds awfully official.
All it does is measure the amount of sugar in the grapes, kind of gives us a ballpark figure of what we have here. And we basically just squeeze.
So right there in the field, you put a little grape juice in there, and it gives you a number.
Yeah, it gives you a number. So each degree of bricks is kind of, sorry about that.
You're all right. So while you're getting those numbers all ready to go, what is bricks? What is that number all about?
Well, each degree of bricks, 21.5, is equivalent to about 1 gram of sucrose.
Okay, gotcha. So we're talking sugar levels here.
Yeah, and a 100-gram solution. So obviously this isn't 100 grams, but it kind of gives us a ballpark number of how we measure sugar.
Yeah. And that's pretty important in grapes.
Yeah, if they're okay to pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you can go in the field and see if grapes are ready to pick as far as being ripe or not, right? And not waste a whole bunch of time with a certain crew in the field.
Yes.
There's some numbers doing that. What number are you shooting for these specific grapes as far as the bricks
level?
level?
Anything above 19.
Okay.
It's good.
Anything above 19.
And we're at 21 there.
And we're at 21. These are definitely good grapes. I have to take those ones home with me.
Oh, there you go. I've had it.
Good deal. Okay, so we have some numbers that come about right there in the field, right? And there's so many more things that we could look at. There's so many more other factors that go into farming. We could talk about fuel costs. We already talked about the packaging a little bit. We could talk about the amount of water that you do use. What about fertilizer? Does fertilizer and water affect the flavor of the grapes that we pick?
Sure. You know, fertilizers. I mean, nitrogen fertilizers, as an example, are used on almonds and a lot of other crops. You don't use a lot of nitrogen on grapes, so fertilization for different crops is very different. So depending on what crop you're growing, and fertilizers and chemicals are all very expensive. So we don't really want to use things that are not necessary. We want to just give it the right amount and not any extra too, for different reasons.
So we want to make sure you can use those to get the best possible product, but not waste them at the same time, right? So many factors. So just because you might think about Farmer John on the farm with the pitchfork and the straw hat, there's a whole lot more numbers that go on here. Wade, we want to thank you for your time. Thanks for letting us come out here. We had a great time learning a little bit about how we pack the grapes, right? We have the famous Do the Math tile, so maybe we can get that up in the warehouse here somewhere. But thanks again for letting us come out. A little more math in the real world.